Do you ever feel like you notice everything? Like the tiny micro-expression that flashes across someone's face before they smile. The exact moment the vibe in a room just shifts. Maybe you reread a text message a dozen times, trying to figure out what that period at the end really means. If this is you, you have probably been praised for being perceptive, intuitive, maybe even an empath. But behind that gift, there is this quiet, constant hum of alertness, right? A feeling of being switched on, even when you are supposed to be relaxing. You are not just being sensitive. You are scanning. Always scanning. And it is absolutely exhausting. Well, what if I told you this is not a personality flaw? And you are not just overthinking it. What if that constant scanning is actually a high-functioning survival mechanism your mind built to keep you safe? Today, we are exploring the psychology of hypervigilance and why noticing everything is actually a sign of what you have survived. Hypervigilance is basically a state of heightened awareness where your brain is constantly scanning for potential threats. It is what happens when your body's alarm system gets stuck in the on position. While it is often linked to PTSD from things like combat or abuse, it exists on a huge spectrum. Lots of people live with a high-functioning version of it. They are not in a constant state of panic, but they are never truly fully at ease. This shows up in ways that are easy to mistake for simple personality quirks. You might have an insane startle response, jumping a foot in the air if a door slams. Crowded, noisy places can feel like a total system overload because your brain is trying to process every single sound, movement, and conversation at once. Socially, it is a marathon. You are not just in a conversation. You are analyzing facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice, trying to read the emotional temperature of everyone in the room. This can make relationships tough because you might mistake a neutral sigh for anger or a delayed text as rejection, which can make you feel insecure or turn you into a people pleaser just to keep the peace. So, what is going on here? Why do some people develop this exhausting internal radar? The answer is all about how our brains are wired for survival. To get why you notice everything, we need to talk about a part of your brainstem called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Think of the RAS as your brain's bouncer, a filter for your attention. Its job is to sort through the billions of bits of sensory information bombarding you every second and decide what is actually important enough to bother the boss with. For example, your RAS helps you tune out the sound of traffic so you can focus on a conversation, but it will instantly snap your attention to the sound of screeching tires. It is a sensory gatekeeper that helps manage everything from your sleep-wake cycles to your focus. Now, this bouncer does not work alone. It is part of a whole security team, working with other brain regions like the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, to decide what is dangerous. In a well-regulated nervous system, this works perfectly. A threat appears, the security team sounds the alarm. Your body goes into fight or flight, and then once the danger passes, your parasympathetic nervous system comes in like a parachute to bring you back to a state of calm. But for someone with hypervigilance, that system is out of whack. Often because of past trauma or long periods of high stress, the amygdala gets oversensitized. It starts flagging neutral things as potential threats. A neutral email from your boss, a partner's sigh, a friend not texting back right away. All get tagged as danger. As a result, the RAS goes into overdrive. It stops filtering out the noise and starts screaming that everything is important. Every sound, every facial twitch, every shift in tone is now flagged as critical information you have to analyze to stay safe. This is not some mystical intuition. It is your brain's survival hardware working exactly as it was designed to in a threatening environment. The only problem is, it is still running that same program long after the threat is gone, keeping you stuck in a low-grade state of fight or flight. For so many people, hypervigilance started as a necessary skill in an unpredictable childhood. If you grew up in a home where you had to walk on eggshells, this is going to sound very familiar. Imagine being a kid in a home where a parent's mood was like a ticking time bomb, shifting from loving to angry in a split second. To get by in that world and avoid emotional or physical fallout, you had to become an expert reader of your environment. You learned the subtle shift in a parent's voice that meant their mood was about to turn. You memorized the sound of their footsteps to know if they were agitated. You became a master of reading micro-expressions to see a storm coming and change your behavior to stay safe. In that context, noticing everything was not a flaw. It was a brilliant and adaptive strategy. Your brain learned a life-saving equation: alertness equals safety. The problem is, this brilliant survival skill does not come with an off switch, so it can become maladaptive in adulthood. The same wiring that kept you safe in a chaotic home now keeps you on high alert in a safe one. It is what makes you overanalyze a loving partner's words, convinced they are secretly mad. It is why you feel drained after a party. You are subconsciously tracking everyone's emotional state the whole time. Your nervous system is still running on old software, convinced danger is around every corner. If hypervigilance is a nervous system stuck in survival mode, the goal is not to shut off your awareness. It is to teach the system that it is finally safe enough to stand down. Here are a few ways to start that process. First, stop calling yourself too sensitive. Seriously. The most important first step is to drop the shame. Your hypervigilance is not a character flaw. It is a sign of your resilience that helped you get through something. Thank your nervous system for working so hard to protect you. That single act of self-compassion starts to lower the very anxiety that fuels the whole cycle. Second, consciously signal safety to your body. Your nervous system needs new, convincing evidence that you are safe right now. You can do this with grounding techniques. A powerful one is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Wherever you are, just pause and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can physically feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This yanks your brain out of future tripping and plants it in the physical reality of your present. Safe environment. Third, actively redirect your attention. Instead of letting your brain passively scan for threats, you can consciously retrain your attention networks. When you walk into a room, make a point to notice something neutral or pleasant. The color of the walls, a piece of art, the feeling of the chair you sit in. This practice of selective attention helps teach your brain to lower the priority of threat-based information. Mindfulness is a superpower here, as it trains you to observe your thoughts without getting hijacked by them. Fourth, take care of your body. Hypervigilance lives in the body, so a physical approach is key. Deep breathing is one of the fastest ways to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's brake pedal. Try this. Inhale slowly for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale for 6. That longer exhale is crucial for signaling relaxation. Regular exercise also helps burn off the stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that keep you buzzing. And maybe lay off the caffeine, which can mimic and crank up anxiety symptoms. The person who notices everything is not broken. They are highly attuned, often because life demanded it. This ability to perceive subtleties is a genuine strength, but only when it is not being driven by fear. The journey is not about becoming less sensitive. It is about learning to use your incredible perception from a place of safety, not survival. It is about having the ability to read a room, but also the freedom to sit back, relax, and trust that you are okay. Healing is teaching that internal guard dog that it does not have to bark at every falling leaf. It can finally rest. This takes time, so be patient and kind to yourself. You're unlearning years of deeply wired programming. But you can absolutely turn down the volume on that internal radar and find the peace you deserve. If this was helpful, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more on understanding your own psychology. Thanks for watching.